Of course, he is not Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela left South Africa without a passport. He was stateless. In fact, some of his men were sent to our country to get our diplomatic passport. We had Usenu, who came to Canada like Nelson Mandela came to Canada, but denied to have anything to do with Canadian citizenship. Mandela was giving citizenship of Canada. He fled. Canadians gave him citizenship, and he stayed here for some time. Usenu studied here and performed spectacularly in the University of Ottawa Law School and was offered job in the 80s that will allow him to even get citizenship in this country. But he denied it and went to one of Africa's poorest country, denying every opportunity that he could have had for himself and his family. Of course, he is not Nelson Mandela, for Mandela stayed here. Usenu is never Nelson Mandela, because when the late Single Nyasi died, Usenu Numukunda Dabo was in the United States at the time. And he was told when he returned home, he'll be arrested at the airport and be killed, because something terrible he did with his party. When Amadou Sane, current Minister of Finance, was arrested and brutally tortured before the entire world, people advised Usenu when he was in the United States not to return home. Usenu refused and said it on the entire media platform in the diaspora that he was returning home and he is going to face whatever he wills, but Amadou Sane must be released. Of course, he was not Nelson Mandela. He is not, because Mandela never returned to his country under such circumstances. He ran away. Usenu Dabo went home in the face of that terrible difficulty. And of course, Usenu is not Nelson Mandela, because Mandela assigned his young people to go and bomb places. Mandela did some acts of terrorism. There were a lot of bomb blasts in South Africa, in some neighborhoods that killed some black people that Mandela himself wanted to free. Usenu never advocated for violence. Usenu Dabo never advocated for a single person to go and commit violence. In fact, he told his people that if presidency for me would mean, walking over a single drop of blood of an innocent Gambian, let me not be a president. He had said that several times. And Usenu refused. With the power that he had at the time and until today, with the powers that he had. I'm sure when Solo Sandeng and others went out, you've seen what happened in our country. Of course, that culminated into the demise of Yahya Jammeh. If Usenu had stood his ground from 1996 in the violent way, Gambia would have disintegrated into disaster. Gambia would have descended into a civil war. Usenu had commanded, and he still commands that authority over his people. They can do anything he advised them to do. But he had always advised them to remain peaceful. Of course, he is not Nelson Mandela, because Usenu Dabo we knew, or the Usenu we know, didn't only contribute to the well-being of our country, but his father, not only his father, his grandfather, all contributed to the well-being of that country. Go and ask Sadauda's people. That is the man we have. A man to us who helped build our justice system. Mandela never did to us. A man who helped a lot of poor people at the court of law when almost all of us were far away and scared to ever face Yaya Jammeh. Ousainou Darboe did. So we don't have Mandela. We have somebody 1 billion times better than Nelson Mandela in Ousainou Numukunda Darboe. Somebody who went out to defend the young people. For us, he is better than Mandela. He's 1 billion times better than Mandela to us. The mere fact that he had always preached, he had always advocated for peaceful means of change of government tells us a lot about his difference with Mandela. As I have told you, a lot of blacks got killed in South Africa. Those blacks were killed as a result of bomb blasts and some terrorist attack or some attacks by those that Mandela and his people assigned to go and fight. Those that were loyal to the apartheid government, black people. Mandela and his team, assigned their surrogates to go and kill. Ousainou never asked anyone to even fight against an APRC supporter or an opponent. He had never advised that. So we have a better Mandela, a better person. And I'll borrow these words from Lamin Tunkara, who said during Ousainou Darboe's birthday, when we celebrated it while he was in prison, that look, Ousainou may be referred to as Mandela, but to us as Gambians, he's a man of unique character, a man that combined not only the qualities of Nelson Mandela, but a man that, combined the qualities of Sir Dawda Jawara, Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Martin Luther King, and even Leopold Sedar Senghor, all together is our Ousainou Darboe. So he is not Nelson Mandela. Do not even argue about that. We don't have Mandela in our country. We have someone much better. And someone who is in his late 60s, but did more than Mandela did in his 90 years to us as Gambians.